And good afternoon. Another episode of West Valley Open for Business. We're super excited today because we're not only talking about a great company that's doing great work in the West Valley, but for me personally, I'm actually representing some of their products right behind me. Kara McNamara, great to have you here today. We always have such a good time on West Valley Open for Business. We talk about new companies coming to the West Valley, highlight a lot of the retail that's coming in, but we don't always look at what's happening on the inside. And that's what you guys focus a lot of your energy on. So again, real excited to have you and learn a little bit more about your company and some of the great work you're doing. And I'm hoping to provide some testimonials because we have about 14 years experience with some of the product that we're going to be talking about today.
Yes, we do. Thank you. So I'm Kara McNamara, Vice President of Sales at Corporate Interior Systems. And we also have a division of our company called DIG. And actually, guys, I'm going to share my screen real quick so I can start walking through this presentation with you all. Let's see here. Host disabled participant screen sharing. KJ, can I get?
Yeah, hold on one moment, Kara. Let me figure out what's going on.
Well, while KJ opens up the system to allow for the presentation, a little bit of background for some of the folks that are new to kind of this virtual introduction. During COVID, we wanted to find a way to be able to promote all of the incredible activity that's happening in the West Valley. So this virtual event became kind of a bi-monthly, quarterly program for us to be able to highlight businesses in the West Valley. And what's kind of amazing is we thought a lot of activity was happening in the West Valley 2 years ago. The volume is only increasing. The story is only increasing. And so having a diversity of projects that we can talk about that are happening in the West Valley and companies that support these projects with not only the great professional services they provide, but also innovative product that really allows for the West Valley to be cutting edge and to be something significant for a lot of the corporate investment we see. So Kara, you've known the City of Surprise, City Hall for a long time, very intimately.
Yes.
And one of the comments that we get at City Hall, and I'll just start your presentation with this comment, is when we get groups that are coming from out of state and they see this majestic City Hall right in the center of City Center. And when they come in, their jaw drops just as much as when they first arrived. And my favorite thing to do is when we're leaving, tell them that we've been inside of the City Hall for a decade. Yeah. Everyone is surprised because they believe that this is a brand new City Hall. And I think it's because not only we do great maintenance, great upkeep, but the type of product that we have inside of our facility is world class. And it allows for us to represent our best selves for our community.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will share screen now again so that everybody can see what I am. Share my sound so you guys can see videos later. So here we are. We will start our presentation. So Corporate Interior Systems started a separate kind of a spin-off company that focuses solely on interior construction. And Corporate Interior Systems, we're a commercial furniture dealership. So all the furnishings that go inside a new building, we've done for 37 years. When we got into interior prefabrication construction, we kind of recognized that that's a specialized skill set, specialized software programs. And so rather than trying to train a bunch of furniture people how to sell interior construction, we got two different groups of people that are experts in their fields and kind of split them off, and we partner together. I happened to be the salesperson that worked on the City of Surprise for over 2 years when they were under construction. I did the public safety building and the City Hall. And all of that furniture that went into those buildings and all of the walls, City of Surprise was ahead of the time. It's all prefab construction that's in those facilities. And to your point, Mike, it looks as beautiful today as it did. And I think it was 2008 when we were installing. I can't even remember anymore. So that's who we are. I'm Kara McNamara. I'm going to introduce Pam, who she, is in charge of the prefab team.
Me, I'm Pam. Hi, Brown. Pam Brown. I'm the Director of Operations for the DIG Interior Construction Division. And as Kara said, we're separate. We're very focused on what we do best. So furniture focuses on furniture. We focus on the prefab, and we specialize in dirt.
Mm-hmm. Lisa Johnson is our president CEO that founded the company 37 years ago. Stephanie Berlin's our COO, and Janice White is our CFO. So we all really work together to make sure everything we're doing is a success. DIG stands for Design, Integrate, Go, and Grow. And we kind of thought that was a great way to go to market because DIRT stands for Do It Right This Time. And they're our integrated manufacturing partner. Laura Fuentes, who's on the phone or on the line, I'll have her introduce herself, is with the team.
Thank you, Kara. Hi, I'm Laura Fuentes. I'm the regional sales representative for DIRT for both Arizona and New Mexico. I'm really excited to be here. I'm actually sitting in our newest Dallas DXC showroom. So toward the end of the presentation, I'm really excited to show you around. So just kind of a teaser of what we're about to get into. So I support DIG in their endeavors of their relationships and as well as their projects moving forward. So thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, we're all excited to be here. So when people are, you say dirt, you say dig, they have no idea what that really means. Basically, dirt is everything you see in that picture under the roof, with the exception of the HVAC, electrical, and fire. So that is actually our office where the DIG team office is out of. Here, I'm sitting in my office in that same facility. Everything in the image there, picture there, with the exception of like chairs and furniture, is actually built out of dirt. And so we'll kind of get into that later. I want everybody to understand like kind of what sets us apart just as a company. We have been in business here locally for 37 years. We are Arizona small business. We're run women-owned, certified. We are family-owned and run. Lisa Johnson happens to be my mother. So I always say that I've been selling furniture for 37 years because she started the company when I was a small child out of our house, actually. We are financially stable. We are the preeminent Hayworth dealer here in Arizona on the furniture side. And then DIRT is our partner on the prefab construction side. We are the #1 office furniture dealership for Arizona for 11 years running. And we are the #6 ranking of women-owned businesses in Arizona. So those things that we're really, really proud of. And this is a funny slide because I left it in here because you'll notice that the stats are all old, but the problems have remained the same. So when we initially started recognizing that the dirt in prefab construction that we've done for years and years was actually going to probably see an uptick, it was because construction delays really started happening, material shortages started happening, prices rose 14%. Now we think we're estimating around 30%. And they are going to continue into 2021. Now we all realize that it's going to continue possibly indefinitely at this point. We're not really sure when things are going to come back. So we're seeing a huge increase in interest in that prefab construction because of how fast we can build a space within a shell versus traditional drywall and actual traditional construction. So I kind of thought that was funny. And with that, I'm going to start a video for everybody to really kind of start to understand everything that dirt entails. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
There we go. I'm going to turn it over to Pam and Laura because they are the experts in dirt, in prefab construction.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again for having me on. So I'm going to kind of just speak through the lens of the audience, really. You know, after you saw that video, it's like the difference between a conventional and prefab. You know, the video really shows a visual of how structurally dirt goes in. I mean, it's not an easy task, but it's you know, less of a challenge than a conventional construction. So in that video, you'll see that, you know, in conventional construction, 70% of labor goes into conventional, or 30% of budget goes into materials. Well, in prefab dirt, it's the reverse of that. So the client's actually paying for more of the material, the accuracy of material, in many cases, savings as well as in labor. Let's say you have an example of a, you know, 7,000 square foot space. You know, how many laborers have to go into a conventional site, plus all the pluses that go into that versus a prefab. So it's a third of a labor personnel that would, you know, work on your project. So on here, we're just going to say, what is dirt? So we're going to go ahead and show another video that actually DIG has done, JDA. And this is actually will blow your mind. So it kind of, those who are speaking, they're going to speak to speed, accuracy, install, and we'll also show a little clip on our software program called ICE.
Mm-hmm. And this is also a project that we completed at DIG and CIS.
Part of it.
When I first heard that we were going to possibly be using dirt, I said, well, what are you even talking about? What's dirt?
Generally, when you think of prefab, you think of pick A, B, or C, and that's it. That's your choice. The manufacturers just kind of force that onto you as a customer. But at Dirt, everything we make is custom. We've brought custom into the world of prefabrication, which has never happened before.
In years past, the estimating process, we've just looked like an expensive product. And it's primarily because they're not estimating it with the efficiencies and the risk mitigation that comes with using dirt.
So you have to think about dirt as a whole bunch of sub-trades wrapped into one. When a general contractor's working on an estimate, they have this big long list of CSI divisions. Dirt will only be 3 or 4 line items. And in particular, the dirt wall number will be the single biggest number in that entire spreadsheet. But that's actually a good thing, because one of the biggest risks that general contractors face is a risk of cost overruns. And the dirt number will be the only number in that entire spreadsheet that is 100% certain. And we can be sure of this because of Dirt's patented technology, ICE, and the fact that it prices every single part, piece, and component right down to the penny.
I would say most people overestimate the learning curve. It's not complicated to figure out how this works. With Dirt engaged, the timeline was much easier to manage.
And they're the only ones that have made this easy for me.
It's an all-in package in this particular project where doors, frames, hardware, glazing.
Walls, quick connect power, quick connect networks, millwork, graphics, writable surfaces, tackable surfaces, integrated technology, and interior timber elements.
Everything's in one place.
Rather than engage a multitude of subcontractors to do the parade of trades through the building, we knew that we were guaranteed product that would arrive on time, that would fit, and it did absolutely that.
Once our subs understand what to do, and they're just in awe of how simple it is.
So instead of having construction going on for at least a year, we were able to condense it into 2.5 months.
The flooring gets installed easier, the electrical gets installed without walls in the way. It just made everything simpler.
We pulled in 504 cables in 3/4 of a day with 4 guys. You can't do that just pulling normal cable.
Anything that can shorten the duration on a job site, as well as create an environment that allows the other trades to work efficiently and effectively with minimal impact, is always the best case scenario.
You know, the old saying goes, time is money. So the quicker that you can get your guys in and out of a job, the more money everyone makes.
When your clients come on site and your job site is so clean, it really makes your job look good.
If this was done in conventional construction, I don't think you would have that seamless, flawless look.
I've been doing construction management for over 30 years now. I think it's the future.
The dirt installation was extremely smooth and was a win-win for every contractor that had to touch that product.
All right, awesome. Yeah. All right, everybody can see my screen again.
Yes.
Yeah. I do want to make, also, and I know we'll kind of go into this, but dirt also pays for itself time and time again. Mike has seen us out there, I'm sure, many times a year when we're changing conference rooms into several different offices, or we're taking offices and making a big conference room. We have reconfigured all of the rooms in the offices at the City of Surprise for the last 12 plus years, 12, 14 years. And if Mike could imagine, if we wanted to convert your office now into a conference room, what that would take if we had to come actually like tear down drywall and displacing employees, the cost, the mess, and the time that goes into that. So dirt really is an amazing investment.
So Kara, it's funny you talk about that. I've been with the city I got started right when City Hall opened.
Okay.
And for a variety of reasons, I've sat in 5 different offices, and I've had 4 different configurations of my office.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're hiring a new team member, and we had to, in an open space, we had to build out an office, and the railing system and the dirt network allowed that to occur with no actual construction happening inside of our office. It was just the paneling. So it was fantastic.
Yeah. It's amazing how that can happen overnight or over a weekend. And Pam and I have been on site at City of Surprise multiple times together because she's reconfiguring the offices and I'm reconfiguring the furniture, right? So Pam, I'll let you guys take it from here, but prefab is fabulous, we like to say.
It is. What I'm going to touch on a little bit is ICE. As Director of Operations, I do design, project management, finance. I'm kind of in all of it, but the coolest thing about what we do is our software platform. It's proprietary to Dirt. It actually, Dirt came after ICE. ICE doesn't stand for anything like Dirt does, but it melts into other softwares. So we work with the architects and pull in their Revit files or the CAD files, and we talk back and forth to make sure everyone's got the accurate information. If you want to go to the next one. This is just a bird's eye view of one of the jobs that we recently completed, but ICE is really cool because it's 2D, it's 3D. Whenever we are designing something in ICE, it's actually what goes to the factory for fabrication. So early on, whenever dirt gets brought into a project, we often hear, oh, it's so expensive, it's so expensive. Well, what you're seeing in our number, as they said in that video, which I love that video, they cover so many things that are just great qualities about dirt. But what they said about our price being exact up front, it's because we're putting the design into our ICE software, and we know that that's what's going to get built. Now, it may change, but that's the only time your price is going to change. You're not going to get change orders. It's not an estimate. And our software is what allows us to do that. We can also do live changes. So what's great when we're designing is we can sit down with the architect or the client and we can make changes right there and rerun the pricing. And as I said, this goes straight to the manufacturing facilities. So we have dimensions up to a 64th of an inch. And that's what's going to show up on your job site is that size.
Pam, real quick, will you just speak to a little bit about, I know that, current lead times for anything in the world are more than they used to be. But when you're talking about, I just built a new house and I was lucky to get it built in 12, 13 months, right? Oh, what is the lead time for building out an office building with dirt?
Well, it depends on the building, but what's really great is the lead times are so short as far as the fabrication goes. Right now we're dealing with the COVID and supply chain repercussions as normal, so we are a little bit longer Our frames are currently about 4 weeks, but that is still way faster than you would build a stick-built project. Amazing. In conventional construction. So we're definitely faster. What's great is we have so much more time to design too, because we don't have to hit that order button until, 4 weeks before we have to start building our walls. So there's so much time for all that coordination to get done, for all the mechanical to get installed, and the ceilings and the lighting, and they don't have all of the stud walls in the way. They're not putting flooring down around frames. It all goes in, and then we come in like Legos at the end and just plug everything in.
And you're not waiting for lumber or
correct
or windows or framing, right?
It's all done off site. So it's ready to go. I mean, your walls are painted. You don't have to deal with the stink, and it's clean construction. You don't have the drywall dust. You don't have so many of those factors that, just create so many issues on a project. And like I said, the cost coming from ICE, it's precise. Because we design it in there, we know exactly what that cost is going to be. So we might come in higher at the beginning, but that's because that's it. Typically what happens is if dirt prices out a job against conventional construction at the beginning, we are higher. But if they go conventional, by the end of that project, that conventional price is so much higher than if they would have went with that original dirt number, because of all the change orders and the unforeseen things that happen on a job site and stuff that gets missed in the drawings.
And can you speak to how many subcontractors we actually can, take out of a job site if somebody's
sure. It varies on the project, but you're still going to need, because we have to have hardwire connections for the power, but the power, sorry about that. The power still has to be hardwired to the base building. So you still need an electrician, but from that hardwired point all the way out, the electrician doesn't have more to do. They're not pulling conduit everywhere. So electrical is one that's greatly minimized. You can pull off drywall, paint, data cabling. We even offer data cabling. We don't do the flooring, but we do offer raised flooring. So in a call center, that's great. There's so many more reconfiguration options with that. If there's timber on a project, that's something fairly new. We've only been doing that for, I think, 4 years. Millwork or casework, we've started that too in the last 6 years. So you can get rid of that guy that has to come out and field measure and take 3 weeks to do his shop drawings. And that also is, factory produced. So it's extremely precise.
And the warranty versus millwork, right? A dirt warranty versus a millwork guy that's building cabinets out of laminate, right? And the difference in warranties is unbelievable also.
Yeah, our warranty is 10 years, and the quality is just higher too. You're not going to be getting a laminated piece of MDF that starts to chip after the first year when your warranty is up. It's wrapped in thermofoil, so the quality is just so much better. So in answer to your question, I didn't really answer it. We can take between 7 and 13 trades off of a job site as a whole though.
Awesome. And I think, obviously flexibility and future proofing and future change are all implied with what we're talking about. And as we spoke of, City of Surprise is the greatest case study of that I've experienced in my career, just because of how much we have added, moved, and changed things around there.
Agreed.
This is my favorite, sustainability. We are green on steroids. Laura's going to talk to us about that.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about a little bit of a sustainability story. This is a kind of a good picture because looking at it is, live plants, healthy environment, breathable space, clean space, interchangeable. You can change it out. It grows, to different You have some blooms, you have some bigger leaves. I mean, it just shows, it's a really good visual of dirt. And, you know, the perfect client, I did see a little question there, you know, it's just a client that is looking for the sustainability story to be, you know, clean, green. Maybe you're thinking of a silver lead interiors, you're thinking about flexibility, your company, you know, 5 years from now, you're going to grow, add, and quick, you know, a quick building space, clean environment. You got to keep your employees working. You know, we work nights, weekends, and, you know, just if, you know, accommodate the client and well, but we can work throughout the day while your employees are working. And then, you know, you think about conventional as a whole and what we do with product. Most of the cases, your client is purchasing a standard materials where it's not exactly built the way that you want your space to be, but you're going to have tons and tons of waste. So we don't even think about the cost of throwing this stuff away and throw it into landfills, and that's all paid for, right? It's not back in your buildings. You don't get to save it or reconfigure it. It actually gets dumped
back in your bank account. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that's a conversation for another day, but it's still something to think about when you're talking about dirt and prefab. You're talking about, again, just like, you know, they said in the, you know, when we watched the video for JDA, you know, when you go into reconfigure, and let's say you're changing out, you know, 5 office spaces and 3 conference rooms, and you're doing that conventionally, that whole section needs to be closed down. You're a lot of waste and a lot of money's going into that. And then again, your delay time. So, I mean, why not talk about a prefab solution if you want things to look very clean and precise and reconfigurable, and just the list goes on.
Mm-hmm. And to address the question a little bit even more, that with, you know, who is the perfect client, it's every vertical market also. And we're seeing a huge increase in interest in healthcare, which we can even incorporate the med gases that go in the walls of a hospital room in the dirt walls. But, you know, right now, especially in places like Arizona, where the demand for healthcare facilities and new hospitals is far exceeding the ability to build quickly and on time and on budget. And so the statistic that I recently saw is that 84% of new healthcare facilities across the country over the next 3 years are going to at least be considering
shoot.
So just something to
say. Kara, please say that again, about 84% of healthcare.
Yeah, so 84% of new healthcare buildings and facilities over the next 3 years are looking at prefab construction, because healthcare right now is on the rise everywhere, but especially, you know, like in the West Valley, especially, you know, where the population is growing at a rate faster than we can build new hospitals. They can convert, you can buy a shell building and convert it very, very quickly with prefab construction. And so that's a really amazing statistic when you think about it.
I kind of want to tag on to that a little too, because there's been so many great stories about healthcare and the impact that dirt has, not just on the patients, but during the process of construction. Because of the adaptability and the accessibility of dirt. There was a job, a huge hospital, I think it was like 27-floor hospital, and the med gases got put in, tested, sealed up, and then the furniture showed up and the beds covered the med gases. So that would have been so much money if it was in drywall. They were able to, because it was designed with a panel of med gases below another panel of the exact same size. All they had to do was flip those panels and move the boxes up. And it took, I think they said 4 days to get the work done. So the flexibility is just, I mean, you can't get it with conventional construction. You just can't.
Yeah. So healthcare, government, commercial, I mean, any client is a dirt client. And these are actually, I love this slide just because, you know, dirt is glass walls, it's millwork, it's timber, it's raised flooring, it's the breathe wall, it's tech walls. I mean, there's just, it's leaf walls, foldable leaf walls, room divider. So, you know, there's so much that dirt can do. And,
yep. And people don't know. A lot of people think that we're just walls and doors and power.
Yeah, it's not.
But there's so many more components.
Yep. And I think this is where Laura's going to take us on a tour.
Real quick before the tour, I got a question.
Okay. Sure.
So I'm holding up my smartphone. Smartphones kind of became common in around 2006, 2008. This product, that's when it kind of came into my being. What are some of the advancements we've seen since 2006, 2008 in this technology? You talked about the med gases, which I appreciated, but if we were to kind of checkbox, what are some of those things that the product that was already innovative has built upon over the last decade?
The perfect example is your space. Your power is still pulled through. It's wired power in your building, and now everything is plug and play.
Got it.
So that's a huge one. And you still have the flexibility and reconfigurability with old dirt. Like I call that old dirt. That was first gen dirt, you know?
Yeah.
In addition to that, I mean, we've just taken on so many new ideas and innovation as far as the leaf walls go. The leaf wall is just a dirt frame, a standard dirt frame, but they designed a mechanism to make it a folding wall. So now we can compete with those hideous modern fold partitions and still give the acoustic benefits of what those do. Also the timber, you don't necessarily have to provide a huge beam of steel to support that leaf wall that folds. You can use timber, and that all comes ready to go from the factory. So they're constantly thinking of, you know, ways to not only improve the product, but how to make them all work together a little bit better.
So we got a question that came in. Can it be adapted for recording studio, sound studio?
Absolutely. There's just a lot of discussions that have to take place. And, you know, we need to understand what the sound requirements are. Yeah. Our walls are like just a standard wall is equal to a basic drywall wall. So the acoustics are going to be the same, but we have so many more options to upgrade that, not just with insulation or gasketing, but also, you know, finishing with different materials, like a micro perforated panel or with vinyl backing on it. So there's just different levels to get to that level that we need for whatever the situation is.
Thank you.
Yeah. Laura, you ready to do the tour? I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
All right. So if I go through the tour, is it going to be in large screen for me, or so we can really get a good sight on it?
I can see large screen.
You can? Okay.
What about everybody else?
Here we go. Here's a dirt door. Here we go. All right, so here's our newest DXC here in Dallas. So I'm just going to I'm going to actually walk through the very front real quick. So like a fast view video.
What does DXC stand for again, Laura?
It stands for Dirt Experience Center.
Thank you.
Experience Center. You have to be really creative. So I'm going through a hall here. I want to go through this front area because it's really cool. It's our timber line. I'm gonna go through our secret door. Oh, they locked it on me. Oh no, I just don't know how to open it. There we go. Okay, this is where we greet all of our clients. Are you guys on video? Yeah, here's Brett. Here's our team, our tour team. Say hello, guys.
Going to virtual reality in a second.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, well, actually, let's take a look at here. So this is where we demonstrate our virtual reality area. Yep, and this is our ice that we present as well. This is actually kind of fun. And then this is kind of our virtual reality components here that we put on our clients that did that. So this is what I wanted really to show you too for our front entrance, our timber. You can go demonstrate that. Thanks, Brett. Super fun. So when we have a lot of events here, it actually becomes really useful and unique. Brett, can you just kind of tell us a little bit about how this happened? Do you know the story?
What, the timber frame itself?
Yes.
This is just utilizing the timber frame canopy here just to provide a totally different experience. Like, we're obviously in just a commercial building, a typical build out, but as you instantly walk into the space, it just feels like, again, we're in a totally dynamic space, and brought in this little privacy screen, as well as things like the timber benching and some backlit graphics, double pane of the Texas landscape there. So
cool. Thank you so
much. No worries.
I'm good. Walk around a little bit.
Good.
All right, I'm gonna come through this hallway, and if anybody wants some wine, we ought to do off that. So as I walk through these halls, you're going to see a lot of our glass fronts, a reflect line, and then I want to show you this leaf line that we've got going on that we talked about before. So I'm going to set this down for just a second. There we go. It's kind of fun and interactive. And this door is super heavy.
There's a particular spot you have to find. There's always a sweet spot with the leaf walls.
You should just be able to push it. Oh, here we go. I need a little bit more practice for the ease for touch. There we go. Now we have got 2 separate rooms.
One.
Oh, now one big room. Sorry, Lauren. Yeah, no.
TVs are tied together.
Oh, so now the TVs are tied together
once
too.
the door is open, both of these TVs are tied together. But when
Very
the door
cool.
is shut, they can be run as their own individual.
Cool.
So if you're doing presentations in 2 different rooms, you're fine. But if you're doing it in one big room, you have the same presentation on both screens.
I'm gonna just do this kind of 3D version. Cool. Thank you so much.
Love it.
That's an interesting comment too, Laura, that he just made, because I think what a lot of people don't associate prefab or dirt as a technology company, but we're the first people to ask those questions about AV and make sure all of those things that end up usually happening at the end of a project actually get asked about early on. So it's coordinated and your space is smart. And we're seeing that obviously with all the crazy technology that we have coming out and changing all the time. So it's good to be thinking about that. Oh, she froze.
And also, oh, there she is. Hi.
I lost you for just a second.
What else do we have there, Laura?
Okay, so here, I got to show you. This is super cool. I think they've got some clients here, but let me, you know what? Let me go in this hallway. There's so many fun stuff. Can I go in there? Am I interrupting? Okay. There's so many cool spots. I can't. Oh. So
yes.
Here is the back side of our wall. Pam, tell us a little bit about this.
So what you're seeing there is, like she said, the back exposed side of a dirt frame with power in it and med gases. The med gases too that dirt is able to do are just like what's in an ambulance. So you don't have all of that welding and hard pipe requirement because the walls are accessible. So we have a lot more flexibility and options with what we can do that's code compliant. And this is the other side.
I'm gonna do a little spinny.
Yeah, it looks beautiful there.
How much time do I have?
Oh,
I can keep going. It's amazing. So hopefully at some point we could do a trip to Dallas.
And or I would invite, I mean, we have our local showroom. It's not as big, of course, as the Dallas showroom, but we do have quite a beautiful installation of dirt products here at our local Phoenix showroom. So we would welcome anybody and everybody who's interested in the product or prefab construction, or just interested in, you know, furniture and construction as a whole, and in the company itself. We would love to invite anybody down for a tour. We just completely.
This is where another education room.
Another benefit of the dirt too is those finishes. You're not just sticking finishes on the wall; they're actually part of the wall. So you get the upgraded acoustic benefits, the option to match the casework to the wall panel, which is always a nightmare in conventional construction, trying to match the millwork with, you know, some other wood on the project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a beautiful finished product, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. I don't know, I'm looking to see if there's any questions in the chat that we've missed. I feel like there are possibly some. Thank you. Walls design work for commercial recording studio. Okay, good. I think we've covered the questions. Does anybody else have questions?
Are you seeing this, and it's going to sound strange, are you seeing this in any multifamily or single family?
That's actually a really good question. Yeah, it's taken off. I mean, I've heard, and this started probably a year and a half ago, where we heard about it a lot more. Mm-hmm. But yeah, hotels, everyone's realizing the benefit, and you know, especially like with properties where you just have a repeat design. I mean, you can get that done just like that, so fast. It's just repetitive and goes up quickly. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hopefully I didn't make anybody dizzy.
No, you're great.
That was awesome. That was fun. It was like, oh my gosh, there's so many things to look at. I don't know what to pick first.
Thank you. Thanks for walking us around. Right. I mean, that kind of concludes really our presentation to everybody. We just wanted to make sure that everybody knew kind of what's new and great, and how DIG and CIS work together to help support contractors and, you know, new developers and clients in Arizona. We do lots of work across the states as well. And also, I think it's important to know, it's so interesting. I lived in Los Angeles for about 8 years, where contractors in our dirt team worked really well together always. And in certain markets across the country, it's been a harder blending for some reason. And several years back in Arizona, it seemed like some contractors got it. Some really felt like we were in competition with them, and that's just not the case. We partner with contractors. Contractors can bring this into their scope. And, you know, Pam, you can touch on that. And then that's kind of all we have today for everyone.
Yeah. The good news about what's happening around the world right now is that a lot of people are opening their eyes a little bit more. And, you know, seeing that it's time to accept change. The speed and accuracy of dirt is just, it can't be beat. So we are getting a lot of contractors coming to us and saying, how can we get this done in this time frame? Mm-hmm. And they're also seeing the benefits of the cost savings, because they can get it done faster. Their trades are in and out faster. Mm-hmm. And before, you know, it was more of they're taking the work away. But no, what we're doing is we're requiring them to get their work done quicker so that they can go out and go to another job site, because that's what needs to happen right now. Mm-hmm. Everybody is in such high demand that going prefab when it makes sense. There are times it doesn't make sense. The cost is going to be outrageous if you're just wanting one single office, you know, but if you're in a building that, like City of Surprise, is existing dirt, we're reusing so many of the parts and pieces when we do reconfigures over there. And like you said, it looks brand new. And it does. And that's because of the quality of the materials too. The paint that's on, they just have a painted panel It is a custom color, but they have a painted panel, and it's a chroma coat. It's a microwave baked on paint, and it just still looks brand new.
It does, for sure. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks KJ. Thanks Westmark.
Yeah.
Mike.
Absolutely, and we hope to watch your product expand even more in the West Valley with all the amazing growth that we're seeing across a lot of different industry sectors, from healthcare to manufacturing to office and also to government. A lot of our public agencies are growing right now, and I will say this: I visited a city hall that was built the same time out of state. That came in online around 2009, and that city hall looked like it was built in the 90s compared to you know what I think ours represents. And so it says a lot about the product, but it says a lot about the people at City Hall willing to kind of innovate 14 years ago, and we're definitely reaping the benefits of it. So thank you for your time today. This is a great West Valley Open for Business.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye everyone.
Thank you.